All right, and we are live. Andreas and Stefan, I think this is a great segue from Andrew's talk. At the end, he mentioned that the biggest thing we can do for adoption right now is just building out Handshake applications, and this is actually what the next two sessions are about. We have some showcase for applications that were built on Handshake. But before we get into that, Andreas and Stefan, love to hear where you guys calling in from. And then just share a little bit of your background before you guys discovered Handshake, what you guys were up to.
Andreas, you want to go first?
Right, yeah, sure. So I reside in Switzerland right now, so that's why we have some daylight for those who are still in nighttime. Well, I'm just working in IT as a head of a help desk, and I was just interested in crypto, researching mining, and then I kind of discovered the gold shell miners, and when I saw the silent version of the HS3, I was just blown away how silent it could be, because I don't really have a garage or anything I could store it in. So now it's kind of running in our apartment, and that's how I got into it. Then I started kind of researching Handshake, and I fell in love immediately, because it's just really amazing what you can do with it and the potential for it. Mm-hmm. Exactly.
Stefan?
Yeah, I mean, in my day-to-day, I run a web development company. And my customers are mostly businesses that are selling or want to sell products online. So I build web stores and online stores. And I'm also pretty new to crypto since like in the beginning of early 2018. And sure, I discovered Bitcoin, then Ethereum, looked at some other stuff. But besides those two, nothing really excited me until I discovered Handshake. Yeah, and that's when my journey began.
Yeah, that's perfect. So, you know, you guys discovered Handshake. Curious how you guys came across discovering Handshake. Like what specific medium? This is like a question I ask to every new namer in our community, right? How did you discover Handshake? But also on top of that, like what was it that really got you guys excited to even dig in a little deeper? Because Handshake is like super technical topic, right? Combining blockchain DNS to already super complicated topics. So you do have to dig in a little deep just to get some surface understanding. So curious, what was it about Handshake that really got you guys excited? Andreas and Stefan.
Yeah, sure. I guess also I try to make try to program some websites for myself, and then almost all domains are always taken, so it's always a bit of a hassle.
Yeah.
To find a good domain. That's one point, but I think then the whole decentralized aspect, where I'm sure it has a value, and I think that we need to move away from this centralized body. And I just really love the idea of owning your domain. No one can take it away. You have it, and not just some registrar that says, okay, .com is also now, for example, $1,000 per year, but I actually own my domain. Yeah, also the community. I mean, I started going into the Discord channel, and it was just amazing to see how welcoming everyone was.
Yeah, the sense of I've totally heard this where web developers, they have like 40 side projects that they have domains on. Every year renewals come up, whereas on Handshake, you know, unlimited subdomains. You just get your own name, set up as many domains as you want for each of your projects. Stefan, would love to hear your side of things.
Yeah, I mean, of course, the decentralized top-level domains, of course, and that just blew my mind. And but next to domain names, I think not maybe immediately, but right after I had thoughts about decentralized identity systems. And I mean, maybe I'm thinking too big, but in my mind, by owning a name on Handshake, in reality you own a way to identify yourself in a non-cryptic way. And I mean, I can imagine a future in combination with Ethereum, maybe. We can provide identities of all sorts. I mean, not only the obvious things like passport numbers or serial numbers or concert tickets and so on, but I mean, there's still a long way to go, and we'll see how it plays out. But in my mind, names are just huge.
Yeah. So on that note, guys, this is the Handshake Showcase. We got your journey. Before you discovered Handshake, once you discovered Handshake, you dove in. Tell us about how you came to. So let's start with Andreas first. Like how you came to decide to build HNSsearch, your story for between discovering Handshake, building out HNSsearch. What was that process like? And then please give us a little showcase of what HNSsearch is about.
Sure. So I guess I wanted to search what websites already exist because it was very difficult to find a way of doing that. So I searched around and I only found one search engine, like HNSOO. And I just thought that maybe there is room for one more. And we also got talking and I asked if you knew about more search engines. So I thought, hey, I think a search engine is really important for mass adoption, also for the community, also to see what is being built. And for any ecosystem, I think a functioning search engine is key. Where I see HNSOO very functional, I just thought we could also bring in some fun aspects and design elements similar to Google. That's why I then started making kind of a Google clone. And I could quickly share my screen here.
See where Yinsu is kind of the Handshake equivalent of Yahoo and HNSsearch equivalent of Google. So curious, how that interaction will be moving forward.
Exactly. So I'm not sure. You should see now my screen. If someone could just confirm that, just so we are.
Yeah, it's a. Oh, yeah, totally.
All right, perfect. So, well, this is the homepage, and as you see for HandyCon, we made a little specialty logo where we try to showcase it. Like I said, we want to bring a bit of. Well, I want to bring a bit of fun elements from Google into it. We are very community driven, so I communicate a lot on Discord, on Telegram not that much, but I'm also there on Twitter, Handshake Mercenary, where we take suggestions. We also have our own suggestion board. And for example, dark mode, as you can see, was one of the top suggestions. So we implemented that, where it firstly recognizes your browser settings, your settings, or you can just switch it manually. And yeah, I mean, we can just do a search just like.
It's a little zoomed out. Can you kind of talk about what you're searching? And, oh, perfect.
I can. Well, now it switches to mobile, of course. Yeah, I mean, in general, we have the normal search results with the title, with the URL, and we do crawl descriptions. But as most Handshake sites don't really provide descriptions so far, there are not that many. And yeah, we also offer this option to open the site with hns.to, as not everyone so far uses a resolver or has their DNS settings changed. So yeah, it's a simple UI. I really wanted to keep it clean, where we just offer our development board where you can leave suggestions. And as you can see, out of the top 4, the top 3 are already implemented. And you can also report missing sites, that link as well on the bottom. And like I mentioned, we just switched our logo, where you can see we put this shield up because I really want to emphasize that we are working on being really privacy oriented, where we don't store data in the sense that we don't track IPs, we don't connect the IPs to search results. We just basically search or log the searches, but we cannot connect them to the users. That's a really big part, and we are implementing new privacy features coming also later this week. Our schedule is like new updates come out every Sunday, or should come out on Sundays, will be announced on the different channels. And like I said, we have some special features. For example, of course, I don't have I think I'm still on the old one. Shit. See, because I've been developing on it. So let's see. Yeah, for that. So you see, you search for block height, and it just spits out the current block height of the HNS blockchain. There are some more Easter eggs hidden like that. Like I said, we want to implement more and more. And I think one of the biggest features we just implemented last week is HNS Direct. For those of you who are familiar with Bang from DuckDuckGo, it works in a similar way, where you can use any of those shortcuts to search directly from our search bar, this website. So let's see, for example, Nyami, which we also have on this panel. You can just enter like this and then search any name you would like, and it immediately jumps to that
Whoa, okay, can you actually go back, zoom in, and do that one more time?
Of course, I'll go to that because I also prepared it like this. For example, we also are integrated with different block explorers, for example. So HNS fans, so you can just enter the transaction ID in the beginning, just exclamation point HF, search, and it jumps directly to this site.
Oh, that's
sick. Really cool.
And yeah, so far we implemented those. So Handshake Mercenary just searches the search of Handshake Mercenary, Sympapolis, and some other ones. Also Namebase, even though it's not hosted on the Handshake domain, I think has its place here. So just to make a last example, and it jumps directly to the Namebase website. I think that's really the biggest, definitely the biggest feature we've released so far. And of course, we're open for new shortcuts. And we also are working now to integrate Block Explorer search directly into the search. So if you search a transaction ID, it recognizes it, and similar with the block height, gives you the information you're looking for. And yeah, maybe one last thing, the integration also started. For example, we've been working with all HNS, and they so far also integrated our search bar.
Wow.
And here all the shortcuts work as well, so you can still.
And just for context, this all HNS is actually something created by a completely separate creator. He'll actually be speaking in the next session. But I see. So it's actually possible for anyone to just integrate HNSsearch directly into their website.
We have an iframe set up. It's just right now in testing. So all HNS is the first one to take it. But if anyone is interested, you can for sure hit me up on Twitter or on Discord, and I can provide you the iframe snippet. Because of course we want to make it as easy as possible for anyone to implement the search, so you can search. And we are also working on a new crawler, where like crawler 2.0, where we try to implement more features to improve the crawler, to crawl more handshake sites, because D-links, for example, are really tricky because there are no real backlinks to it. So
yeah, we're working on getting an API out to expose those D-links. Hopefully that can make your job a little easier.
Exactly. But yeah, I think that's it. So we're really open. We communicate with a lot of people from the community. A lot of great suggestions. Most of them came from the community, and I really appreciate it, because I think together we can make this search really, really amazing and really useful for the ecosystem. Yeah.
100%. Well, thank you so much for sharing, Andreas. Let's move this over to you, Stefan. Same thing. Just your journey from just really diving into Handshake up until your decision to how you decided to come up with something like Miami, which I can definitely share is just like totally loved by the Handshake community. Definitely hit the hammer on the nail right there.
Yeah. I mean, first of all, Andreas, thank you for integrating Miami.
Sure.
Thanks, cool. Really love HNSsearch. And well, I mean, in the middle of last year, I was browsing through the Namebase marketplace, and I realized it's really, really hard to find really good deals, 1,000 names at this point. But still, there were so many gems in there, but you couldn't find them. Yeah, and so I had the idea: how could I bring some intelligence into the naming system? And because I was also right in the middle, I had some time because of COVID, and I was learning like some JavaScript languages, some new stuff, and I wanted to try it out. So that's when I started to just build Miami. And yeah, I mean, the most question I get is how does the rating work? And I think I also want to share my screen real quick.
Yeah, just as some further, what is it called? I'm trying to think the word in infomercials when they have like regular people talk about how much they love or approve some service. What is that word? but nonetheless, just like as further evidence towards how much the community really values Niami, just in the back. Oh, testimonial. Thank you, Jehan. As further testimonial for how much the community really values Niami, like just in the backstage before this started. There's a couple side conversations about investments towards Niami, putting in a little more support on the financial end for further developing that. So, perhaps down the line, I would love, I hope the Namebase team doesn't get too mad at me for sharing, but I would love to see Niami ranking as one of the sort functions for the marketplace too.
Yeah, and I have a problem with my browser. He won't let me privacy settings. 10 seconds, I restart my browser.
Oh, sounds good. Actually, Stefan, would it work if I just shared my screen and then you can tell me? Yeah.
Oh, no, I have a presentation actually, some slides.
Okay, yeah. Yeah, go ahead and, yeah. In the meanwhile, I'll share my screen for Niami. So I'll just go ahead and hop out. What's going on?
We were able to see it just now, just as a reference. Well, there he goes.
Michael shares .use is legendary. Is Mike Sulu? Is that do you own use? Yep. I love how the #1 most highlighted name on the legendary is just ass.
Yeah, I would be curious how the whole algorithm works, how he classifies them, but probably he'll go more into that.
Okay, it's really bad. I will try it like that. I will try it without it. So the basic thing is at the moment we have really more than 600,000 names, and it's really hard to browse all those names and to rate them. So I really had to optimize my algorithm in the last past weeks. But basically, on a high level, how it works, you get some input, the rating system does its thing, and it outputs names with a rating. And how does it work exactly? I will share a presentation where all the maybe on Twitter, or maybe you, Johnny, can share it afterwards. But basically, I have a punish system and a rewards system. So I just point out, I won't talk about any or every punishing or rewarding system, but just to pick a few. If the name, I mean, I think we all agree, basically, if you have privacy, the word privacy, everyone would agree that it's valuable. It's a common word in a supported language. It doesn't contain any number or underscore, and therefore it gets a high rating. There are some other parts, like if it's a really, really short name, like C, I mean, it's immediately valuable. I don't have to check anything. Also, I realized there is some spam coming up. So people really put in lists of words and just register them in the hopes to make some money. And we have a lot of exotic English names, German names with a bit of zero. So someone bits 0 with a blind of 0.4. So that will also get punished, just to bring some transparency into the naming system. And I also, I mean, let's. I think it's best if I give you some examples, like what I said before. Privacy, the word, the domain privacy received a bid of 33,000 handshake. That was the amount somebody was willing to put into that to buy that domain. So I consider it as a high value domain. It has no digits, it has no special chars like underscores or something like that, and it's a common English word. So therefore, it gets a rating of, in the new system, in the version 2, of 935 from 1,000 points, and that's really, yeah, really high. On the other side, we have something like NameSearch. NameSearch is actually on auction later today, and I think most people would also agree that NameSearch is also valuable. But it's really hard for me to detect that because it consists of 2 English words, common English words, that are stuck together. And I cannot rate that at the moment. So it's receiving a lower rating than it should have, actually. But it can increase in the future if it's sold on name. I will implement that on Namebase or on ShakeDex. So the rating can increase once it's sold or once it gets sold. Every time it's sold, it will increase the rating. But it's really impulated because if I would consider the blind, sure, you need that HNS, but you will get it back. So you could manipulate it. So it's really important for me that money has to find its way. So, but it's really important for me to say, please don't take Miami too serious, because just because a name has a low rating doesn't mean it's not valuable. And yeah, I mean, in the new version, I will also have some languages like German, French, and like the word cafe with an apostrophe. Yeah, you can check that. And also, I implemented validation for Punicode. So you will see if you have I had the example of a pizza slice. If you have the valid Punicode, if it's the real emoji, then it gets a really high rating. But it's invalid Punicode, then it will get a very low rating, even 0 maybe. In general, I don't want to be the judge. I just want to bring some filters in and some algorithms. And yeah, in the end, all I can say is visit Miami, browse some domains, check it out, and yeah, if you want to give me feedback, I'm on Twitter.
Awesome, yeah, and I that's perfect. We're right on time. Regarding Miami, I think it is true. I think not only is the community really curious about how the valuing algorithm works, but I think the community would be really willing to chip in on hashing out some of the things like name search, figuring out a way to increase the values of those. I would say one suggestion I might impose is just the presentation that you would have shared, perhaps just sharing it in the About section on Miami, so anybody can just have a look. And on that note, if any attendees have a presentation they want to share for the rest of this conference, please just email it to me at johnny@namebase.io as a backup, and I can share my screen just in case if that's needed. Cool. So we're going to take a quick break until the second half of the Handshake Showcase today.